G'day everyone, welcome back to Empires of Europe. This is Fat Rod. So I've got another 1700 showcase for you today, but a little bit different. I'm using some extra mods, and this is also the pre-release version, which has some of the new updates like the new sound effects and the new UI icons. But the extra mods I'm using here, this is a custom battle, which you can probably tell. So I've got EnhancedBattleTest for the custom battle. BattleSize, so I can go beyond the 1,000 troop limit. RBM AI module, only the AI module, and explain that a little bit later. And also RTS camera, which is how I'm getting these nice aerial shots. So I'll explain the setup, which mods I'm using, how to load order, etc. And then I'll get into the battle and talk you through how that works. So should be a lot of fun. Let's get into it. Okay, so these are the mods and the load order. Pretty straightforward. The general required mods, which is Harmony, of course, and 1700. And then our other mods also require ButterLib, UI Extender, and MCM, so they all go up the top. I've got RBM just after the native modules. And then scrolling down a little bit further, we've then got BattleSize. That goes before 1700, but BattleTest and RTS camera go after. Took me a really long time, and shout out to Dom Awesome for helping me here. BattleTest has to go after 1700. It's one of the rare mods where that's the case. It took me a really long time to realize that's how it works, but yeah, once again, we can now have custom battles, which is great. Once we're actually in the game, you'll see the option for single player battle test and also the RBM module. So if we jump into RBM quickly, you'll notice I've got everything disabled or set to vanilla with the exception of the RBM AI module status. And I'm only doing this really for the cavalry, the way it affects the cavalry. It's supposed to change the tactics, but I haven't really seen that in custom battles at least. I'm not sure that's actually working. Sometimes they're smart, sometimes they do the same stupid shit. So I'm not sure that really works, but it definitely works for the cavalry, and you'll see how effective it makes them. So we'll take a look at that. So we'll start our battle now, and I'll just explain my setup here. So I'm playing as the English against a Spanish army, and if we look at the troop numbers, so I've got 1,000 in total, 150 dragoons, 500 regulars, 100 of the elite Coldstream guards, 50 engineers, 50 grenadiers, and 150 irregulars. The irregulars, of course, don't have bayonets, which is important. Then over on the Spanish side, they outnumber me by about 50%, well, by exactly 50%. 600 regulars, 50 engineers, the same number of cannons on each side. 200 dragoons, 200 of their elite troops, 400 regulars, and 50 sharpshooters. So not only am I outnumbered, they also have better troops. Reason I do this is because the AI in custom battles seems to be particularly bad. And if it was a 1-to-1, the battles are just too easy. So I often look to outnumber by at least 50% or 100% to make it more of an even matchup. I find that settings like this, I do tend to lose quite a bit. So I think, but I can still win. So I think it's it's pretty even. So I'll just explain my formation setup here, as well as how you can get around some of the vanilla formation bugs. It'll often get the numbers wrong. So what you can do is you delete a formation altogether and then recreate it, and it will sort itself properly. The other thing that happens is if you've got grenadiers, it will automatically put them in the infantry formation, and it will put the engineers in the ranged formation, and you can't get them out. You can't fix this. I think the game just automatically does this by default. So, despite the fact I love my little spade icons here, my little shovel icons, I think I'm going to end up having to change how this works. In Formation 1 or infantry will go back to being grenadiers and pikemen, and engineers are just going to be part of the ranged formations now. But I actually don't mind this because having the cannons deploy in front of the ranged troops actually makes a lot more sense to me, and you'll see why. So the formation I'm setting up here is actually a replica of a real mid 18th century formation. This is how they would deploy with the artillery right at the front, in front of a line of ranged units or infantry units. You've then got the grenadiers on the sides, and this works really well. You'll see in the battle. We've then got a second reserve line of infantry and the cavalry on the flanks. I tried this a few times, splitting the cavalry into two groups like this, but again, because the AI is so bad, I'm finding it more effective to have them as one group, which I move around to whichever side I need to. So with our troops set up, we'll now start the battle. Okay, so into the battle now, and I'll do pretty much all of this using RTS camera, so I can have that, real-time strategy view when directing the troops, which is good for a battle of this size as well. So the Spanish send their dragoons in on charge straight away. They don't always do this. Sometimes they use better tactics, but they made it easy for me in this battle. So they'll try and go around the right flank. You can see my infantry already getting quite a few kills. What's interesting though is when they get to the sides and the grenadiers, and this is where this grenadier formation proves really effective. So in a second we'll start to see the grenades go off. And they're just going to absolutely decimate the remainder of the Spanish cavalry. What's good about this formation is they don't seem to hit each other. When they're horizontal, same line as the infantry, they tend to hit each other a lot more often. But being vertical like this, there's very little friendly fire. Even when the Spanish infantry line gets up into firing range, it's the same. They still prove to be a lot more effective. So right now, this is my suggested way to use your grenadiers for sure. So with the Spanish dragoons wiped out, I'm now going to move my cavalry over onto that left-hand side, and I'm going to save them for a big charge against the Spanish infantry when they're within range. So because the Spanish troops were a higher quality than mine, they're actually engaging from pretty far away. And at this point, I'm kind of thinking I might sacrifice my front line for the opportunity to get my reserve line into a better position because it's elevated on the right over here. So that'll actually give my troops some more range. The other thing I'm going to do is actually send in my grenadiers to kind of help cover and distract while I reset my my main infantry line. And this actually works surprisingly well also. So you'd think these guys would get shot pretty easily, and they actually do, but they also take quite a few of the Spanish with them. And the other thing I'm doing at the moment here is just changing my cavalry into a skein formation for their charge, which I'm going to do when the Spanish infantry gets a bit closer, when more of them are in that central part of the battlefield. So you can see those grenadiers in the middle now. A couple of them getting shot, but starting to let their grenades loose, and they're actually getting a lot of kills. Yeah, there we go. You can see it there. So they're not going to last very long, but they kind of serve their purpose. They give my my infantry time to form up behind them. So just got to hold a little bit now. You can see the Spanish reinforcements coming in on the right. I wanted them to get pretty much into that centre part of the battlefield before I start the cavalry charge. So my reinforcements coming in now. And I got a bit unlucky that they all got added to the second formation. I would have preferred if they'd gone in formation 1 and I could have set a second line on the left there, but instead it's one big formation. So I kind of figured, all right, they're still shooting at my cannons and what's left of formation 1. Maybe that'll give me enough time to reform one big line on the back here. But it didn't really work out. So in the end, I kind of panicked and I thought I'm just going to have to send my cavalry in. Now, this is where the RBM AI module comes into play. You'll notice just how effective this cavalry charge is. And actually, you can kind of tell as well once we move over to the dragoons. You can see just how fast they're moving. That's a lot faster than what they do without RBM. And then just look at the kill feed here, so that they're really really mopping up this scattered Spanish infantry. Look at the kill feed, or look at the power bars up the top as well. It's really evened things right up. So at this point, I actually thought I'd won, and I let all my troops charge, kind of breaking my firing line, which I sacrificed so much to create. What I didn't realise was there's another group of reinforcements coming down the hill on the right. And we'll see now when I run my general over there as soon as we get over this hill, and yeah, there's another couple of hundred Spanish irregulars coming down the hill. So at this point I realized I'd screwed up. I'm probably not going to win. So I'm just kind of taking a look here. Well, we lost our horse. Maybe we can hide behind a tree here. No, okay. So that was my last commander as well. So at this point, I realised, the gravity of my mistake, and unfortunately, it doesn't take too long before my guys, the numbers drop too low, and they actually turn around and retreat. So, not the best outcome, but this was definitely a winnable battle. I know that because I've done it a few times, and I have pulled it off. So that's pretty much it. Kind of highlighted a couple of things there. Most importantly was using the using RTS camera to get that top-down view, which really gives you a totally different way to manage your troops and manage the battle, and of course that that great cavalry charge thanks to the RBM module. So there go the lads. Leave me here to die. Maybe next time. So yeah, that's it. Obviously, the mods and everything are in the description, so you'll be able to replicate this and do something like this if you like. This update's probably got a couple more things I want to fix up, such as those formations, but I think I'll probably end up leaving the beta for another week, and then we'll go to the full release. So yeah, all this good stuff is not too far away. So that's it. We'll see you next time.